What's going on, my home studio addicts? Joel and Mr. Potts here today, and we are going to talk to you a little bit about compression on your master bus in your home studio mixes. Now, first of all, is compressing on your master bus or your 2 bus needed? No, it's not needed. But is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. This isn't something that you have to do or must do, and I'm going to tell you why. So you should not really need any compression on your master bus. If you're working with MIDI drums or programmed drums, this compression on the master bus is kind of some overall glue for your song, and it works mainly on the transients of the drum kit. And if you're using programmed drums or MIDI drums, you're probably not going to need any more additional compression for those things. We should also be compressing our individual tracks so that we don't need that much compression on the master bus. If you aren't compressing your individual tracks and you choose to throw a bunch of compression on the master bus, that's going to suffocate your song because it's compressing everything at the same time, the whole mix, right? And we have to be careful when we're compressing the mix as a whole, because if we use too much compression here, it's going to suck the life out of our song, and we're not going to have a lot of dynamic range, which today the name of the game is dynamic range. It's no longer about making our mix as loud as it can be. So when I come at a mix, I am usually focused on compressing all my tracks and maybe adding a little bit of compression on the master bus. And I'm going to show you a real easy way to do that using any of 2 plugins. And you might not have these plugins, but you probably have something that's comparable to these. Now, we have this mix up here that sounds decent already. Yeah, so it sounds pretty good. The singer sucks, but it sounds pretty good. Now, down here on the master bus, I have some plugins. I got VMR, the black box, and the tape machine, and I've left a spot here for a compressor. So we are going to go in and choose the Waves SSL Bus compressor here. And I will show you using this plugin first. Now, when using the SSL Bus compressor, the attack and release are very important, as well as the ratio. So ratio, right away, we want minimal compression here. So we want to take it down as small as it can go to 2:1. When you're setting your release on a compressor like this on your master bus, you want the release as fast as it can go. So we're going to flip that over as fast as that compressor will go. We don't want this compressor to compress and hang on to anything too long, because again, that's going to suffocate our song. Now, for the attack, it's the opposite. We want the slowest attack here for this compressor. So 30 milliseconds here is its slowest attack time, and that's what we're going to set this compressor at. The reason for this is if we set this attack too fast, it is going to cut away some of the punchiness of the drums. We want those transients from the drums to poke through a little bit. Some people I've seen here set it at 10 milliseconds. If you have maybe too punchy of drums, you might want to go here, but 90% of the time I am at the slowest it can go at 30 milliseconds. Now we're going to play this chorus and bring the threshold down and just get a little bit of compression going. Again, we don't want to compress too hard here. If we do, it's going to sound awful and kill the vibe. And I'll show you what that sounds like. But my goal here is just for 1, maybe 2 dB of gain reduction. See, that is way too much right there. See, that is that sounds pretty good, but did you see when we were getting way up here, it was just completely flattening the song, which we don't want. So usually when I'm using this compressor, I'm looking in between this 0 and 4 gain reduction meter. Now, you'll notice if I bypass this and then bring it in, the song does get quieter. It is some subtle glue, and it does kind of trick your ears into thinking it sounds worse because it's a little bit quieter. But to get around that, we can just add a little bit of makeup gain back. And there we go. That's some nice, easygoing compression on our master bus. Now, there's also a really nice compressor I like to use besides this once in a while, and that's going to be this API 2500 series. So I'm going to replace it with that and show you why I like this compressor. With this compressor, we have a slightly faster release time that we can utilize. So let's just set that there. And then again, we'll set the attack to the 30 milliseconds. And we will take our ratio down to 2:1 like on the last one. But it also has a couple options down here that are great. First of all, we have a knee, which I'm going to make soft so we can get some more transparent compression. We don't want this mix to sound like it's super compressed, so a softer knee will help that out. We also have a stereo link knob here, which at 100% it does what the SSL does. It compresses both sides of the mix equally. Now, we don't always want that because there might be just a guitar on the one side, and that might be peaking a little, and maybe we just want the compressor to work on the loudest sides of the mix. So I will usually bring this down to 60% here. That way, it's not completely treating the sides differently, but at the same time, it is a little bit. It also has a low pass and a high pass filter, which is great if you want to keep the low end or the high end of the mix intact. On this, I will usually just flip on the high pass filter because a lot of times I don't want the compressor working super hard on the low end of the mix. Now we will just do the same thing we did with the other compressor and take the threshold up until we're getting a little bit of gain reduction. And that is just some nice glue for the mix. Again, we're not trying to overly compress everything here. Everything should already be decently compressed by the time it gets to this master bus. So I really hope this helps some of you guys out. Let me know if you have any questions on this. Thanks. Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to download your free Ultimate Home Studio Mix Guide. I made this for you guys so you could start getting your mixes sounding better. There's a lot of great information in there. And be sure to reach out if you have any questions or if you need any help with your mixes. Thanks.